Hi everyone, I am Sylvia Arotin. Welcome to our live Q&A. So every month we bring you a different expert guest to discuss relevant topics and that really shape the upbringing and the way we raise our future generations. Now we know we're so incredibly grateful for your presence today, whether you're joining us from anywhere around the world. I know it's morning here in Australia. It's very, very late where Tatenda's joining us from in Zimbabwe. It's 1 a.m. So we are going to keep this live to 60 minutes just so that we don't go over time and he can have some rest. And so just let us know in the chat where you're listening in from. And also, if you are watching the recording, please hashtag replay, let us know where you're listening in from. And really, if you'd like to keep up to date with all of these events that are taking place, you can find them on our Guide and Grow Montessori at Home 0 to 3 Years Facebook group. You can also find it through the Childhood Potential Club. So we've recently joined Montessori Parenting. They have all different resources for all of you out there that are doing Montessori at home. So please feel free to join our community, subscribe to Montessori Parenting so that you can keep up to date with all of these free events that we're doing. So without further ado, I would like to welcome Tatenda. Now I'm going to put him on the main screen here. So here you are. Welcome. It's so lovely to have you here. I'm going to read a quick bio and then I'm going to dive into some questions for you. So Tatenda, I know that your story is truly inspiring. You're a dear friend of mine. We got to meet in Thailand. You're originally from Zimbabwe, which is where you are now. Your passion for Montessori education really blossomed while you worked with children in China. So you've made some real significant contributions in Kenya and Zimbabwe, and now you continue this incredible work in Colorado. So as the founder of Montessori on Wheels, Tatenda really brings Montessori education to diverse communities. And in 2024, he was honored with the Montessori Innovator Award for his dedication and innovative spirit. Welcome to Tatenda.
Thank you so much, Sylvia. So glad to be here and excited to be in dialogue with everyone on the call tonight.
Absolutely. So let's get started. Tell everybody how you got started with Montessori on Wheels and what was your inspiration?
Oh gosh, thank you so much. Where do I start? I think that story always is, having its own life as you try to remember, right? The mind has its own way of remembering things. Yeah, and I think I'm gonna try and do my best to like really tap into the inspiration because I think it's been there all the time. I've always had a passion for education outside the classroom. I think where I really thrive is, for those who know me, is really speaking about Montessori outside the classroom, not just in the classroom. So I'm always evangelizing Montessori, be it when I'm in Zimbabwe right now with my family. They know that I'm the uncle, the Montessori uncle. It's funny, yesterday I went to see one of my mom's sister, my aunt, and she calls me Montessori. It's like her thing, right? Because every time, everywhere, I'm always talking about Montessori. So what really inspired Montessori on Wheels was listening to parents in Denver. So in 2020, I had set myself to open a school before COVID happened. I really wanted to open a school and bring a school that really honored Black and Brown children in Denver, that really had culture at the center of the curriculum, the instruction itself, and the teachers who looked like their kids. And this was all coming from my experiences in China and in the US, where usually I was the only person of color and I didn't get to work with kids who looked like me or with parents who had similar experiences than with the one that I had. So I really wanted to have that school. So as everybody knows, if you're opening a school, you pretty much do a lot of trying to sell, the Montessori pedagogy. You go into the communities, you talk to them, you show them the pink tower, you share them all the materials, you try to really get them understand the beauty that is Montessori education. So I had done that. And yet, parents were really not yet invested in sending their kid to a Montessori school, to the one that I was about to open with Wildflower. So I went back and I asked them, like, really, what what had happened because they had enjoyed me coming to them and doing this, Montessori activities with them at home or at the library or at church or in the on community. And one thing that they told me was that they really had enjoyed the idea of me coming to them and showing them a Montessori education. So there is what really was magic to them, that somebody finally had brought Montessori to them to do it in their own community, in their own homes, at their own church, at their local library. They didn't have to go somewhere to look for it. So so really, that's where the inspiration came from, that maybe we really need to do education differently, because often many times we do education to them, not with them. So the idea of going really was something that they were seeking, somebody who would come and give them that exposure, that experiences for them to then choose it for their own children in schools, be it private or public. Um, and we were doing that already, right? I think most Montessori teachers do this. In our cars, we always have materials. So we are literally Montessori wheels everywhere, even if you don't know it, because every teacher's car or bag or backpack has some Montessori material in it. So I wanted to see what happens when we truly evangelize Montessori education, when we go out and give that exposure so that parents and children and communities really know what it is and they have access to it by means of being exposed to it, uh, and leave it to them to either choose it or continue doing that at home, so that it's not only limited within schools. Because I think most people talk about this experience of having been in Montessori through having enrolled in a school. And I know that's not the only way, right? You could also have Montessori exposure and experience by way of it being somewhere in a community or a local church, library, supermarket. So that was the inspiration. Like, how can we move education and how can we really bring it back into community so that parents can own it and parents can have an experience of seeing their child as a learner so that they can understand who they are as learners, so that they can then either at home or at school advocate for them or support them. So that was really the inspiration to change the ways in which people experience learning, people experience Montessori when we bring it literally at their doorsteps, in their community, and on the bus.
That's incredible. So explain to people who don't know what Montessori on Wheels actually is. Tell them like what it is. So you converted, go ahead.
Right. So Montessori Wheels is a mobile learning program that really seek to bring more access to Montessori education within communities, low-income communities, communities of color, and reimagine what community partnership through parent engagement looks like. So we, sort of like to think ourselves as really involved in, the statement in the US sort of maybe might land very well with most people, like, Montessori on the street, right? Like, we are literally bringing Montessori to the streets. Like, how can we take this to where people are and then do it learning with families? So we have a mobile unit. Now we have two that goes into communities, partners with schools, with local organizations, with church libraries, or just at a local park and park the bus. And the idea is to get more people exposed to Montessori education, so that they can get on the bus, look at the materials, ask questions, and if they really are interested to learn more, they could sign up for either 4 or 5 or 6 or the whole term, where they get to come and interact with it. So it is different from the classroom in the sense of we don't have a 3-period lesson. I mean, we don't have a 3-hour cycle, not 3-period lesson. We don't have a 3-hour cycle. So what we do is bring the bus maybe today as only practical life, that week, or the next week, the bus is only language, and the next week, the bus is only sensorial. And some days it has a combination of all. We just want to spark interest so that at least we can be that bridge between schools and community, so that if they like it, they then choose and go and experience it more in a more structured way. So that's what we do. We partner with schools, local organizations, community to introduce Montessori and give them access to the materials. And the way we do give them access is different. Because when we're thinking about access, and I think this applies anyway, I'm in Zimbabwe right now, we're in Egypt, and we are learning that what really makes Montessori beautiful are the materials, but not just the materials. It's what's in the materials that then helps that learning happen or be more fun, right? So we extract those elements. So we dissect the materials and extract the elements and share that with the parents so that they then understand what it is so that they can do that at home in ways in which it culturally respond to who they are, who the child is. So we are saying you have a pink tower. We want to understand what makes the pink tower fun for the kid to want to come and learn the variation of size, visually discriminate size. That in itself is what is in the material that then we then give to parents so that they can go find anything that they can do at home to stack different sizes of pots, pans, plates, right? Giving them the same experience that some were exposed to a Montessori environment at school experience every day. So that's what we do.
That's so incredible. I love that, bringing Montessori into the communities and really adapting it to suit, the culture and the people that you're interacting with. And I think that's the most important thing. Like, we always see Montessori as this, institution or the schools and sending our kids, but we never reimagine that. And I think that's such a brilliant thing that you've brought, to the community and now globally. So it's incredible. Let's talk about culture and diversity, because I know that that's something that we really are going to tap into today in our conversation. So could you share, like, from your experience, what has been the benefits associated when you do integrate that diversity and culture, learning into a Montessori home environment?
Yeah, I think confidence. What's in the culture is the idea that I can see myself. And when you see yourself, you're able to learn, right? And by seeing myself, what I mean is that when you can understand that I can relate to the learning, we know that children are able to learn well. Parents are able to sort of take ownership of that and, be able to help their child. When we make it like rocket science, that's where it's very hard, right? When we make it a very Eurocentric learning model, then we have parents who look like me trying to understand how does this even work with people like us, right? But when they can see themselves in that pedagogy, in that instruction, in that curriculum, uh, I think it does then build that confidence that, oh yeah, me too, I can relate to this, right? So, we're thinking about how can we make practical life more culturally responsive so that it also reflects who they are. And at the same time, still exercising those super skills that we're trying to develop when we're like, polishing or transferring. One thing that I've seen and witnessed in our work and in my work is that when parents can reclaim, and I think that's also one of our three words that we have in Marathon Wheels. We have reclaim, restore, and revive. Um, that what is their story in Montessori, right? We want them to be able to see themselves in Montessori education. One thing that I think I told you, Sylvia, that um, I was introduced to Montessori in Beijing, right? So I had to go halfway across the world to be introduced to this thing that felt like I know this because I had grown up with some of its elements in Zimbabwe, right? I was able to make those connections that I think this was what was happening growing up in Zimbabwe. It wasn't formalized into a learning model that the same that it is in the West and in the East that time being in Beijing. But I think there is power when we're able to make those connections, when we're able to remember how we grew up in our own cultures and see ourselves in that, being an element of mixed age group. That idea that, oh yeah, I grew up in a big family, so I know this too well, that I learned from my brothers. I was teaching my little cousins. We were all learning together outside. There was just so much autonomy and this idea of choice, and parents who were able to guide, maybe sometimes over guide that, right? But so it really creates confidence that we need. And also it helps people remember that they have experienced it. And when children and parents are able to remember, they're able to learn very well, then it's not like something very abstract, right? Or something that's far removed from their own reality. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I absolutely love that. I think when you said to me, "Oh, you found something or you felt something that was relatable to you," it just speaks to the fact that Montessori is such a global, you become a global citizen when that the learning, it's almost inbuilt in the values and the principles. When you talk about humanity, I feel like it just really brings everything and it ties together. And we all felt like that, when we discovered Montessori. It's like, oh, I feel so connected to this and I wonder why. And I think it was exactly for the reasons that you explained. So when parents are looking or, to introduce their children to diverse cultures or different perspectives, within the Montessori framework or in their home, what kind of advice would you have for them?
Yeah, I think you really start with your own culture, right? When the same thing when you're trying to build a strong identity in your children, with the children, you really want them to know that they just don't live in a vacuum, you know. So as you try to build your culture first, you
Yeah.
also very much let them know that there are the people who are so different from us, right? And we're going to learn about how they live, what they care most about. Um, so there is this invitation to being curious, right? Because I think kids say that it's always a monkey do, monkey say, whatever their parents do, they always imitate that. So they're a reflection of how we even see the world and interpret the world. That's how then they sort of understand the world through us, the adults in their lives, caregivers, parents at home. So really, when we are curious about how others live, then our kids become curious as well. So we really start with understanding who we are in relationship to then other people who are different. And also really noting that it's almost at the end of the day the same, though we sort of do it differently, right? Though we show up differently, be it within language or being with the way we dress or the way we interact with physical objects, to make food or to for those who worship to worship, and like how we just like live and interact with others. So I think with that question, we always invite parents to start with it being curious and cultivating that within children. Because when you're curious, you ask questions. When you ask questions, you get to listen. So there's so many skills that you're working on. The idea that you need to listen to stories, you need to either you're reading books or we need to invite others from that culture who can share more about how they do things or how things are and how they see the world and walk this world. Um, so that we're not isolating ourselves, but we're actively thinking to what you said that Master is such a global way of learning. That's exactly how I think about it. That when we think about Montessori, it's an adaptive pedagogy, right? So we have to be adaptive. So it then ceases to be very rigid, that this is the only way of doing things. This is the way we do things because this is how we do it in our home, in our own culture. But being curious, like, oh, why do the Chinese count the way they count, like 10-1, 10-2, 10-3, 10-4, and why in the West we say 11, 12, 13, 14, right? So really finding beauty in the way that they do, and then like, oh yeah, it does make sense when we really separate the tens and the units and all the kind of stuff, right? So I think it is really from that, so that we always don't start with the deficit mindset of like what's not there or what's not beautiful from that culture, but what's there to celebrate, knowing that we all have all this. And once we know and we expose our kids to the beauty of the world and different people, um, they're honestly little nice, kind humans who grow up to be people we want, to change the world and hopefully be better than us.